afternoon, Casey Hendrickson here. Wow, the camera's actually in the right spot. All right, a lot to get into today. Tons of stuff. I'm going to be flying kind of fast and furious on this, and then we'll focus on, well, the title of the stream. A lot of you probably saw the title of the stream. You're like, okay, that's really inappropriate, and you're right. It is really inappropriate, but completely relevant to what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to go over a bunch of stories, some of which you've heard on the radio show, some of which you haven't heard. This is by no means all I have from the past couple of weeks since I last talked about this. This is just kind of a fraction of it. And the reason I wanted to, kind of just highlight that part is we did two shows, I did two shows a couple of weeks ago that you all felt were extremely important. One in particular. And that was 2 weeks ago, right? Maybe 3. And we have shared those all over the place with people, and some people choose to watch, some people don't choose to watch. It is what it is. A lot of people are just doing this thing and pretending that this doesn't exist. Those were all about how Hollywood is preying on the youth, and then how teachers are preying on the youth. Certainly don't mean all teachers, certainly don't mean everybody in Hollywood. That goes without saying, but they always try to make that argument, so you have to give that disclaimer just so you don't have somebody using a straw man fallacy. So this is, since then, in that short period of time, 2, maybe 3 weeks, since we last did those shows, what I'm going to give you today is a fraction of what has developed since then. And maybe tomorrow or maybe the day after that will go into more, I don't know. But these stories are happening so rapidly, so frequently, and there isn't enough time to cover them. And I wanted you to be aware of that, because I told you before, the culture war is everything. The culture war is literally everything. And I know that a lot of people want to focus on fiscal policy, and I'm not saying that that's not important. You certainly need to pay attention to that, but the culture war is everything. You lose the culture war, you lose everything else. You can win those other things, still lose the culture war, and guess what? Culture will come back and change those other things around again. You have to win the culture war first. If you don't win the culture war first, nothing else means anything. I talked about this on the radio show. Transgender pedophiles avoided prison after a judge said that it would be too difficult to cope with. Now, this is an individual that had 125,000 images and videos of child sex abuse. I couldn't go into the details on this case on the radio because the details of the case are so serious. It should probably go without saying with the title of the stream today. If you got little kids around, put some headphones in. This isn't a family-friendly show today. A biological male British pedophile who identifies as transgender woman has avoided punishment after a judge overseeing the case ruled that sending him to prison would make it too difficult to cope with the anxiety surrounding his transgenderism. So what? Pedophile. 68 years old. 125,000 images, 125,000 images and videos of child sex abuse stored on various electronic devices, some depicting children as young as 3 years old. Among the child pornography found in the home of transgender pedophile Peter Selby was 2,400 images and videos of children classified by UK authorities as Category A, meaning that they depicted penetrative sexual activity, bestiality, and or sexual sadism. This guy doesn't belong in prison. He belongs in a body bag.
Yeah, exactly.
We used the word of the day that day for the live stream for the radio show. Float him. Send him to space and float him in space.
Yes.
This is not a human being who deserves life. Period. According to local media reports, Selby confessed his guilt to police immediately upon their search of his home, claiming that his addiction to adult pornography had morphed into pedophilia. That's not how that works. Though Peter Selby was convicted of crimes at trial and sentenced to 14 months of incarceration, which in and of itself, not enough time.
Nope.
He will avoid prison and jail altogether thanks to him identifying as a transgender woman. Despite the judge's admission that sentencing that Selby's conviction proved just how deviant his sexual desires are, he was let off of the hook because of his transgenderism, with the judge expressing concerns over how he would cope with the anxiety of being trans in prison. So this person gets to go free. In the worst case scenarios, they were only going to get 14 months. In England, there are people who have spent more time behind bars because they said something publicly that was considered politically unsavory or offensive. This guy harms children. Okay, so he doesn't actually do the harming. If he wasn't looking at it, people wouldn't be doing it. Children have to be victimized for people like him to be satisfied. Next. Taco Bell. This is an older story, but I didn't get a chance to get to it. It's, like 10 days old. Taco Bell is now hosting drag queen brunches, and they'll be using these events to promote major LGBT youth organization. Nice. As drag brunch, came to a close at a Mexican restaurant here last Sunday, the performers conga lined their way through the crowd of about 40 party people who were just this side of tipsy on brunch punch. But this was no standard drag brunch. It was a Taco Bell drag brunch. And that wasn't a microphone in the lead queen's hand. It was a grand toasted breakfast burrito, grande toasted, whatever it is. That queen, a Mexican-American performer called Quesadilla, was the MC at the Taco Bell Cantina down the block from Wrigley Field in Chicago, wearing a frilly skin-type frock with the Taco Bell logo on the belly. Okay. What started nearly 12 years ago as an effort to provide hope and encouragement to young LGBTQ plus people has become a global movement to uplift and empower queer youth before they're in crisis, according to Brian Winky, executive director of It Gets Better Project. We are beyond excited to partner with Taco Bell and the Taco Bell Foundation to celebrate the LGBTQ plus community through the drag brunch experience and to collaborate on programming designed to engage LGBTQ plus youth around their career aspirations and future potential. Nothing says, hey, let's focus on your career aspirations and future potential like doing a drag show. Now, again, drag is an art form that was created as a sexual art form. It is for adults. It's not for kids. California elementary school teacher allegedly molested 4 students inside of a classroom. The victims were reportedly between the ages of 8 and 9 years old. The substitute teacher who worked at Southern California Elementary School has been arrested, charged with allegedly molesting 4 female students in the classroom. The alleged victims were between the ages of 8 and 9 told investigators the teacher touched them inappropriately in separate incidents inside Adams Elementary School in Santa Ana, according to law enforcement. Kill him too.
Yep.
Transgender activists are demanding cash reparations for white people. This is hysterical. I don't know how often I have to keep saying this, but I think that this is important to once again just say, first of all, there's no such thing as justification for reparations. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Black people don't deserve reparations. Nobody else deserves reparations. But here's another thing. If you're gay or trans, your struggle has been nothing like what Black Americans have experienced. So shut your face.
Thank you.
Not even remotely close. They're not comparable. If you're trans, you don't even qualify for the stuff the gay people qualify for, which isn't anything, certainly compared to Black people. But they love pretending, and we've talked about this for years on my show, they love pretending that somehow they are as big of victims as those who endured slavery, in spite of all of the data to the contrary. If you're white and your parents have a savings account, that is very much so connected to slavery and land theft. Like I said, I know that you're not dealing with the brightest people in the world. All you have to do is look at Libs and TikTok's feed and look at the people who commented on this stuff. They're not smart. I don't know if it's a fluoride deficiency or what. They're not intelligent people. Taxpayer-funded transgender organizations want society to decolonize the gender binary, force white people to pay reparations to gender non-conforming people. How did white people? What are they responsible for here? Do you know what demographic in the United States is least receptive to transgender ideology? Black Americans. Why don't you have them pay reparations? It's almost like this is just a giant societal wedge to destroy our country and its ideals. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's just white people are inherently bad. It doesn't matter who they are, they're bad. Force white people to pay reparations to gender non-conforming people and affirm mustaches and big you-know-whats as authentic expression of womanhood.
What?
So mustaches and penises are authentic expressions of womanhood. Uh-huh. No, they're not. Last year, a group of Washington State gender identity nonprofits, all of which work with children and receive public funding. They're totally not coming for your kids. I don't even know what part they're totally not coming for your kids this show is, because we've done so many of them. But they're totally not coming for your kids. They all work with children. They all get taxpayer funding. They hosted a presentation series called Decolonizing Gender, claiming that the process of creating men and women actually is the process of genocide. There hasn't been a genocide, you idiots. One of the participants was Ganesha Gold Buffalo, a transgender sex worker who said that colonialism was the reason why he woke up to screams of his ancestors early in the morning and followed their voices into the woods where the spirits decolonized his mind. No, that was the dope you were on. Because I would bet anybody's salary Ganesha Gold Buffalo is an addict. Gold Buffalo is a male-to-female trans sex worker, said that colonialism caused him to wake up at 4 in the morning to sounds of my ancestors screaming from outside my window. That happens when you drop acid, by the way. They followed the voices into the woods, and the nature spirits decolonized their mind. Something else happened, but it wasn't a decolonizing. Forgetting about basic biology to not offend transgenders is critical, according to Gold Buffalo. He said the society should affirm their identity as a woman with a penis, according to Rufo Stupides. I 100% want to still be able to look in the mirror and see every part of myself as a woman. My mustache, all of my facial hair, my untrimmed brow, my fat butt, my belly, and my penis. Okay. You're not a woman. You can pretend to be one, but you're just cosplaying.
I'm not buying anything, because cars are
A
coming.
middle school teacher, 28 years old, was charged with sending naked photos and video to a student who was 16 after telling him that she heard rumors that he liked her. Ivy Renault, 28 years old, faces felony charges. Okay, charged with using technology to engage in communications for sexual prurient interest with a minor, and a warrant is out for her arrest. She's been taken into custody. This is a week old. Former Midwest City Middle School teacher hasn't been taken into custody at the time of this. Woman's age of consent is 16, but adults in police reporting and still being charged with having sexual relationships with children aged 18 and under. The court documents filed in Oklahoma County Court revealed that Renault met the teen who was a student in the district at a soccer practice. So she's a middle school student. The other student is 16 years old, is in the district, but is not her student. Renault's assistant soccer coach at the time heard rumors that he liked her and wanted to watch her run. Renault allegedly then added the teen on Snapchat and sent him 3 or 4 nude photos in an inappropriate video, which the teen then showed to a few of his teammates, according to court records. Social media expert Patrick Ullman told K4 that social media users should assume any photos that they send might as well be posted on a billboard for everybody to see, despite the notion that with Snapchat, the images theoretically disappear after a short time. Everybody knows that you can screenshot Snapchat, and there's plugins that will just download Snapchat and they don't disappear. Everybody knows that. So, what is interesting about all of this is her, it's not him, it's her, it's somebody else. What's interesting to all of this is that, she admitted to all of this, but apparently, the kid blackmailed her. So she sends the photos and the video to him, he blackmails her, and she, ends up having to send him, $120 or something like that. So, I mean, not only was she inappropriate, but then, of course, he blackmailed her afterwards. There are a couple of winners. BBC has edited quotes from a rape victim because the victim used the wrong pronouns for the attacker. All right, take a look. This is Crowder. It is astonishing how many men who claim to be women transgenders, the left likes to call them, turn out to be violent rapists of actual women. And while the left attempts to square the circle, how a woman with a penis manages to rape an actual woman with a vagina,
you gesture,
most of them
medium skin
probably
tones.
wouldn't put the feelings of the rapist over the testimony of the rape victim, unless, of course, it's BBC. Then they have to take special care not to misgender the rapist. This is exactly what happened when the BBC revised the quotation included in a 2021 story about an allegedly transgender woman who forced
Thanks for
herself
watching.
on a lesbian woman. So according to the Daily Caller, they threatened to out me
Fuck
as
don't
a
you do
TERF
this thing
and
now?
risk my job if I refused to sleep with them.
What was the fucking
Okay,
setup?
this is a new thing with the transgender activists, by the way. That if you don't engage in a sexual relationship with a transgender person, you're a transphobe. So this woman happens to be a lesbian. So TERF is a derogatory term for lesbians who do not accept transgender ideology. So this person, who's a biological male, identifying as female, told this lesbian that you're going to sleep with me or I'm going to out you as a TERF and ruin your life. It's basically blackmail. I was too young to argue and had been brainwashed by queer theory, so they were a woman, even if every fiber of my being was screaming throughout. So I agreed to go home with them. They used physical force when I changed my mind upon seeing their penis, and they raped me. Yeah, if you're a lesbian and you see the penis, you're probably not going to be interested. But remember, this is a woman. So they say. Those theys and thems were originally male pronouns, but the woke bros at the news website wanted to make them female because of misgendering. As an English major, it already makes me want to vomit the way that the woke-tards butcher the English language, but the fact that they did so while changing the testimony of a rape victim telling her story in order to spare the feelings of a violent rapist is enough to make anybody see red. The BBC did not respond to the Daily Caller for comment on that. Totally not coming for you kids. The Gender Variant Universe, a consortium of publicly subsidized nonprofits, wants to decolonize gender and normalize male genitalia as a form of authentic womanhood, which of course is obscenely stupid. This is an article by Christopher Rufo. I encourage you, this is kind of with that other story here that we talked about earlier, but this is an article that you need to read, okay? You have to read this. It's in City Journal. I'm sure that Rufo linked to all of it. Here, I'll highlight his name here. It's kind of hard to see. I'm sure that he linked to it on his social media.
Whatever.
Transgender activism has been making inroads into America's public institutions. The Biden administration has recently promoted neo-pronouns and gender reassignment surgeries for minors. Government agencies have celebrated the expansion of identity categories such as pansexual and non-binary, and public schools across the country have adopted curricula teaching students about transitioning from one gender to another. Trans activists often present their ideological program through a series of euphemisms and, was it catalogs? I don't know what that word is. Such as gender diversity, LGBTQ inclusion, love is love, protect trans kids, and comprehensive sexual education. But those slogans obscure more than they reveal. The deeper nature of trans ideology is much more radical, and the public should have a clear-eyed understanding of what trans activists believe beyond the protective layer of the obfuscatory language. Never gets that word out. The best way to do this is to listen to activists in their words. Last year, a consortium of trans organizations in Washington State hosted a presentation series titled Decolonizing Gender. It offers an honest, unfiltered look into the world of trans activism and ideology. The event was hosted by the most prominent gender identity nonprofits in the region: Traction, Lavender Rights Project, Black Trans Task Force, Gender Justice League, and Utopia. Washington, all of which run programs for minors. any phase of confusion that they have just by naturally developing a process that they would go through puberty. There are some studies that have it, upwards of 95 to 97% that go out of it have this type of confusion. I think the lowest number is like 88%. But when you start doing hormone therapy, you start doing surgeries on children, that number drops to 0%. They now can't grow out of it. It's impossible. They're stuck. So what do? Artificially grow your population by attacking children. You target children because you're seeking to be more influential. You're seeking to grow your community and have power in our society, and you do it by attacking the kids. That's what they're doing. I've used this analogy before. This is very much like the deaf cult. Okay, you have people who are deaf resist the cochlear ear implant because they see it as a threat to their society. Culture is being destroyed because you are being able to hear now. There are people who are deaf, who have deaf children, get the cochlear implant for their kids, who are then ostracized by the deaf community because they are now rejecting the deaf community and they're killing off their entire cultural society. That's what's happening here. This is the trans war and everything else. And here's the truth. There aren't that many trans people. That's the reality. There just aren't.
I need to pull
I'll
a
give you
train
that data
back.
here in a minute. There aren't that many of them. So what they have to do is they have to artificially manufacture more of them in order to grow their influence. What the gay community doesn't realize is that the trans community is actually at war with the gay community. They've attacked lesbians first, but they're at war with the entire gay community. They're trying to take over the entire gay community. They're trying to take over all of the rest of the LGBTQ+. That's what the trans community is doing right now. They're not allies, they're at war. They just don't realize it yet. The main presenter, trans activist Malcolm Shanks, said that he was a descendant of black slaves and Taino tribesmen and used to identify as gender fluid, but has been identifying more recently as a little bit more gaseous or plasma-like, unquote. Randy Ford, a fundraiser for the Lavender Rights Project and a black male to female trans femme, said that she uses she, her, and goddess as pronouns. You all make fun of me using overlord as my pronoun, but if they can use goddess, I can use overlord.
Yep.
Makaira Gaines, a program coordinator for the Gender Justice League, said that she uses no pronouns and identifies as non-binary and kind of like a black hole. Anisha Gold Buffalo, male to female trans prostitute and activist, said that she identifies as Choctaw, Cherokee, and black.
What?
And with these secret lands. So you can identify as anything, folks. Your pronouns can be whatever the heck you want. So, again, remember to use overlord when you address me. So, to begin the event, Shanks led the group in a land acknowledgement denouncing white colonizers for seizing indigenous territory. Of course, that's not what happened, but I digress. And introduced the main theme of the conversation for the long lecture on decolonizing gender. The crux of Shanks' argument was that white European colonizers committed genocide against indigenous people and replaced the natives' peaceful, non-binary gender system with an oppressive colony gender binary. All right, now you're an extra special idiot. First of all, it's historically inaccurate.
Okay.
There really wasn't a genocide. And if you look at it right now, I'm not saying that it wasn't violent and brutal and that a lot of people weren't killed unjustifiably. Some were killed justifiably, some were killed unjustifiably. But we're not talking about a full attempted genocide here. There are far more Native Americans alive today than there were back then. It's not even remotely close. There's like over 5 million alive now. There was like 230,000 alive back then, something like that. Don't quote me on the exact number, but I'm ballpark. I'm really close. And if you think that Native Americans did not know what a man or a woman was and that they swapped back and forth and all of that stuff, you're an imbecile. You are an absolute 100% moron. The idea that Native Americans did not understand the difference between men and women, and that is a wholly white European introduction to North America, you are an extra special kind of absolute idiot. But this is the type of crap they're teaching. Now, I want to remind everybody, as we go up top again, they all have programs where they are involved with kids. So the people who put on this event and are telling you that Native Americans did not acknowledge male and female, that is a unique introduction in North Central and South America by white Europeans, that gender was an invention of Europe and is really just a white supremacist thing that didn't exist here. They're teaching that to kids. It's nonsense. It's obscene. It's one of the most ridiculous manufactured fake history things that the left has come up with. And they've come up with a lot of fake history that's lunatic. But this is probably one of the worst that I have ever seen. But they all have taxpayer-funded projects where they work with children. Every single one of them. So this stuff is going to make its way into the classroom. And this is why you still have people running around thinking that we should give land back to Native Americans and that we stole land from Mexico. Because they don't know the actual history of it. I don't need to go through the rest of it. I just wanted to get to that point so you understood how insane and lunatic these individuals actually were. Next. Old Massachusetts middle school teacher accused of sending partially nude images to teenagers. Good stuff. Fairfax County middle school teacher arrested on child porn charges. Middle school teacher in Fairfax County, Virginia, again, Fairfax County, Virginia, a lot of problems there lately, has been arrested in child pornography charges and is now facing 2 felonies. 28-year-old Christine was a Knisner, was a science teacher at Irving Middle School. Irving Middle School was arrested after police investigated a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, marking the latest sex abuse scandal to plague these school systems of deep blue Northern Virginia. So they were arrested in late May by detectives with Fairfax County Police Department's Major Crimes Bureau and Cyber and Child Exploitation Squad after she was found in possession of child sex abuse material. Investigation into her began after police received an electronic tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Investigators traced the IP address back to her Springfield apartment and served a search warrant, finding her to be the dwelling's only occupant and arresting her on the spot. Just hours later, she was released on an unsecured $2,000 bond. Cool. So she's a pedophile and she gets arrested. They release her on $2,000. And once again, we got another prosecutor funded by George Soros, and that is Steve Descano. And the history on this guy is very interesting. We've talked about it before on the show, but while details regarding the contents of the Snapchat account are scarce, officials say that none of the children being sexually abused were Irving Middle School students. According to Fairfax County Public Schools, this woman is currently on leave as her child pornography case unfolds. Oh, she's just on leave. That's good to know.
Paid leave?
It's great stuff.
Huh. Wow. Paid leave.
So once again, another person who's a pedophile, so far not facing any serious charges. We talked about this on the radio show as well. Pride events are banning police from marching in parades or attending rallies, which is hysterical because they keep saying that they're the target of more hate crimes than anybody else, and they need the police to protect them like they protect other people, but of course they don't have the police around. It's super offensive and racist and everything else. Online Magazine talked about this on the radio show as well. Online Magazine tells dads to absolutely bring kids to pride parades with nudity and kink. Fatherly, which you should never read. Pride parades and pride festivals that follow are noisy and crowded and filled with sights that may be new to kids, like public nudity and kink. So is it appropriate to take your young kids to Pride? Yes, you should take your kids to a Pride parade, but have these conversations first. Yeah, and I've told the story before, a few years ago. have a problem if you want to rent out a large space and do that sort of thing. But it shouldn't be out in public. This is not okay. Okay? This picture right here that I'm showing you is not okay. And I know that some of you are listening to the audio show right now. You're like, what's going on? There's a little girl here. She looks like she's 8, maybe 9. And there are 3 men who are dressed up like dogs and are basically naked. And they're being walked by another man who's not wearing very many clothes, as if they're pets. And she's going up to them and petting them like they're dogs. This is a little girl holding a rainbow flag. You know, in 20 or 30 years' time, you're going to see Dateline NBC specials and things like that. They're going to be at late night about how parents abuse their children. And there's going to be a lot of these components. They basically forced me into this lifestyle. They did this, they did that. You know, kind of like we have with cults now. It's going to be that, but it's going to be all about pride. This stuff is not okay. It's not okay for children. Now, the photo that I'm showing right now, this comes from the Texas drag show that's been all over the news. We've talked about, everybody else has talked about. This is from the Texas drag show that was at a game that had children in it. And it was called Drag Your Kids to Pride. Was the event. Now this is a child who looks like they're 5, maybe 6 years old. They're stuffing money into the underwear of a lingerie wearing male who is dressed in drag. She's tipping the stripper. That's what this is. And you got people who just, oh yeah, look, I know that you on the audio podcast you can't see it, so go watch the video on Rumble. You got this douchebag here. Oh yeah, he's great, that's great. You got this douchebag, his wife douchebag, I guess. Look at that big old smile she's got. And then you got this douchebag here, this other lady here taking a video of it. Oh, it's so amazing. This is great. She's tipping a stripper. Our 5-year-old is tipping a stripper. How adorable. Every decent human being knows that what they're seeing right here is wrong. Every single one. And if this were a real female stripper, if this were a real child tipping a real female stripper, our society would be outraged, but somehow it's supposed to be accepted and cute and adorable because this is just a guy pretending to be a girl. This same event, I don't know if this, I don't have this in my show prep, so I don't have this, but to the back here. So for those of you who are watching the video, if you go this way, around, on that back wall, there's a giant neon sign at this event that is designed for children in Dallas, Texas, for Pride. These drag queens stripping in front of kids and having kids tip them money. There's a giant neon sign that says it's not going to lick itself. Gee, I wonder what they're referring to for this kids event. It's not going to lick itself. Huh. I wonder what they're referring to for kids, but they're totally not coming for children. Back in April, the Biden Department of Education hosted a webinar supporting transgender students as young as kindergarten. There's no such thing as a transgender kindergarten. They don't know anything about who they are at that point in time. It's not true. Taxpayer funded from the Biden administration. It's not real. Coming for your kids. A woman has been interrogated by police for saying that males can't be lesbians. She's facing jail time, actually. So we're getting into that speech stuff, right? And they can't actually charge with any crimes. So what they do now is they get social media. In our country, they can't charge with crimes. In other countries, they can. So what they do is they're trying to get social media to report. So New York has this new law that requires social media to report any hate language to the authorities. So if you go on there, like, I live in hate, Philadelphia fans or something like that, you know, next thing you know, boom, it gets reported as hate, you know, visit from the police. Next thing you know, red flag laws go in, and all of a sudden you don't have any guns. Your constitutional rights are taken away from you because you had a rant online. They are doing everything they can to ban free speech. They can't actually make it a law. So they're just starting to take rights away from things that you say, absent of court. And you got people like Dan Crenshaw going along with it.
It kind of feels like crap also.
Right now, a woman is being investigated for hate speech in Norway. Her crime saying that a man is a man. A man cannot be a lesbian, nor can he be a mother. This used to be a joke when I was a kid. The joke when I was a kid was that I'm a lesbian because I like girls. That was a joke. It is now a real thing. It was all considered a joke. People are potentially going to jail because of this. This is an article in Breitbart. Now, this is about the UK. I'm going to give you the American numbers here soon. I've been talking about this for years on the show. I've asked several producers in the past to give me answers to these questions. Media is leading the public to believe the country is far more black and gay than reality, according to a new report. Britain's diverse media has given the public the impression that their country is far more black and gay than it actually is. Britain's only diverse media appears like it may have skewed the general public's understanding of reality itself. The YouGov poll finding that people considerably underestimate how white and straight the United Kingdom tends to be in real life. With previous reports concluding that the UK's television industry vastly overrepresents homosexuals and those from so-called BAME, black, Asian, and minority ethnic backgrounds, they overrepresent the US too. The new poll has found that the general public also vastly overestimates the prevalence of transgender people, Muslims, and Jews in Britain, while underestimating the overall prevalence of European ethnicities. According to the results of the YouGov poll, as published by the Daily Mail, those quizzed by the polling group reportedly believe that black Indians represent around 20% of the British population, despite those from African ethnic backgrounds making up just 3% of the UK. So if you were to go ask the British how many black people are in the country, they would go like 20%. It's really 3%. They're overestimating by 17%. Why? Because of the media representation. It is the same thing in the United States. Respondents also vastly overestimated the number of gay and self-described transgender people in their society, estimating that around 15% of the population is gay and around 5% transgender, despite making up only 1.8% and 0.3 to 0.7% of the population, respectively. So they think 15% of the population is gay, but it's really 1.8%. They think 5% is transgender, but it's really 0.3 to 0.7%. Now, this is in the UK. This trend was the same for the UK's population on Muslims, which the public perceives as being 15% of the population, despite being closer to 5%. Jews, 10% versus half a percent in reality. And vegan and vegetarians, which are perceived to make up 1/5, 20% of the British population, but in reality only make up about 4% of those in the country. That's because vegans won't shut up about themselves. And everybody on TV is like, you should go vegan, you should go vegan. Nobody's going vegan. Vegan is not a healthy lifestyle. This distorted impression created by much of the broadcast and online media is so out of tune with the facts as to befuddle people about the true character of Britain, said Conservative Party MP John Hayes in response to the survey's findings, before concluding that media preoccupations with minorities are skewing the facts. Yeah, that's happening everywhere. It's happening in the United States too, because not just in the U.S., but also in the UK, there is an attack on their culture that is happening. By contrast to the above results, those responding to the survey seem to believe that only around 65% of their nation's population was white, despite the fact that European ethnicities make up around 87% of the country, the vast majority of which are heterosexual. A study published in 2020 found that BAME on-screen representation of British TV stood at just under 25%, despite representing a total of around 14% of the country's population at the time, with gay and lesbian representation enjoying similar representation on the screen.
Send my power back.
Homosexuals were also found to be vastly overrepresented in off-screen production efforts. are gay or lesbian. Gallup has previously found that Americans have greatly overestimated U.S. gay population, recording similar average estimates of 24.6% in 2011 and 23.2% in 2015. In each of the 3 polls in which Gallup was asked this question, a majority of Americans estimated this population to be 20% more of the U.S. population. So in May of 2011, Americans thought it was 24.6% of the population. In May of 2015, just 4 years later, Americans thought it was 23.2%. In May of 2019, they thought it was 23.6%. And honestly, it has really ramped up since then, so who knows what the results are now. Americans estimate the proportion of gay people in the U.S. is more than 5 times Gallup's more encompassing 2017 estimate that 4.5% of Americans are LGBT, based on respondent self-identification as being lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. In 2002, Gallup asked Americans to estimate the proportion of men and women who are gay or lesbian, respectively. The results were nearly identical, with an average estimate that 21% of men and 22% of women were gay. The reality is it's about 4.5% total. There's several places that get really close to that number in their own surveys. Okay? They also talk about television representation and that sort of stuff that we get involved with. So women, by the way, this is where things get interesting. Let's see. Overestimation of the nation's gay population may be in part due to the group's outsized visibility. An annual report by GLAAD and LGBT advocacy groups found that representation of LGBT people as television series regulars in broadcast primetime scripted programming reached an all-time high of 8.8% in 2018 to 2019 television season, which is nearly twice Gallup's estimate of the actual population. But Americans have overestimated the sizes of other minority groups in the past as well, including U.S. blacks and Hispanics. Estimate that about 3 in 10 Americans, about 29.7%, are gay or lesbian, the highest of any key subgroup and much higher than the men perceptions at 17.4%, which are still way high. Meanwhile, average estimates of the U.S. gay population vary by age. Adults aged 18 to 29 offer the highest estimate at 28.5%, adults aged 65 and over the lowest at 17.5%. Among political partisans, Democrats and independent estimates that
no, I'm not playing with a computer.
Of Americans are gay or lesbian.
As far as the AI, yeah, I'm running against the AI cars. So Sardinia World Touring Car 800, and I'm in a Group 2 Lexus RCF. Trying to get it to handle a bit better.
Really, about 4.5% of the population is LGBT. Okay? So how many adults identify as transgender? 0.7%, 18 to 24. 0.5% of adults age 65 and over identify as transgender. And it has been this way for years. For years. This is the UCLA, Williams Institute School of Law. They have researched this. Let me go through some of the states here. For those who are watching the video, you can see this. But even if you look at Hawaii, California, Georgia, New Mexico, identifying as transgender, 0.8%. Roughly 1.4 million adults identify as transgender, according to UCLA. 1.4 million adults in the U.S. identify as transgender, in a nation of over 330 million. Okay? Very, 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 very small portion of our population. It's not the same as your it is not a lottery. It's just not. So they're desperately trying to promote their influence and their movement. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick time out, pay some bills with Silver Fox Art. You kind of digest some of that, and then I've got another story to tell you, and then we're going to get into the title of the live stream today, silverfoxart.com.
The lighting change is great. fucking car. Yeah, this car is very off. It's off by a lot.
Alright, we are back. SilverFoxArt.com is a great business to do work with. And again, the logo that you see behind me was made by them. That is made out of wood. It's like half-inch wood. And it is three layers. So the skull is the top layer, then you have the microphones below that, and my name is behind it. And so it's a big piece. It's a big heavy piece. It's an amazing piece. It's got backlight on there. I have RGB lights installed in the backlight, so I change the color of it. They're not on right now because it clashes with the way that these lights work, which doesn't really show up that well. But for those of you who watch me do my radio show from my basement, you saw the lights quite frequently. They don't really show up in the setup that we have here, which is kind of cobbled together by the company that I'm working with. So, if you're interested in family photos, if you're interested in any kind of graphics or any picture you want, or if you have a business and you want to have a logo sign or something like that, you said some BMW logos, some military insignias and things of that nature, tons of great stuff. You saw some samples of that commercial that you just watched for those of you watching the video. And I recommend you go to SilverFoxArt.com. You can also follow them on Instagram and take a look at their latest projects. Instagram at silver.fox.art. Okay, before we get into the main subject of the live stream today, because I know that the title might be considered controversial. This live stream, for those of you who don't know the title of the live stream, you just listening to this on autoplay. It's called a drag queen named Jizz, and we'll get into why that's very relevant to what we've been talking about. But I wanted to take just a little bit of a palate cleanser. Palate cleanser, because we're talking about how they're going to make kids eat bugs in a giant experiment. Schools make kids eat bugs in a climate change brainwashing experiment. Isn't that nice? So we kind of talked about this. This is a video that John Paul Joseph Watson made, so I encourage you to go check it out. But this is a Davos type thing where they're out there with Davos and organizations telling everybody to eat bugs, reduce carbon emissions, bugs, reduce carbon emissions, yada yada yada. And of course, when they have their lunches, they don't eat bugs. They eat the rarest proteins that are available on the planet that you can't afford.
Yeah.
But they want you to eat bugs. They want to have all of the good stuff. You to eat bugs under the guise of saving the planet. Kind of like you've got members of the Democratic Party in the United States right now. They want 1,000% tax on all rifles, right? Because they only want rich people to be armed. They don't want poor people to be armed. This is all under the guise of gun safety, but really it's about just making sure that only the rich can afford ammo and only the rich can afford firearms, and they're not allowed to afford them, which is why I recommend you buy them. So schools are going to be making kids eat bugs for part of the school lunch programs and things like that. I really encourage you to watch this video. It's a good one. You'll know some of the details of the program and that sort of thing. This is happening in Europe. It's also going to be coming to the United States as well. It'll take some time to hit the U.S., but it's there. A North Carolina pre-K teacher has resigned after LGBT pregnant man flashcards were found in the classroom. So North Carolina preschool teacher resigned after a resident reported that children use flashcards depicting a pregnant man to learn about colors, according to a report from ABC 11 News. An unnamed preschool teacher at Macon County Public School Systems, Valentine Elementary School, reportedly used flashcards to depict a pregnant man and the progressive pride flag. The educator resigned after the school's principal unearthed the flashcards. Those are the flashcards right now. If you're not watching right now, it's got what looks to be, these are cartoons, it looks to be a man who's got a pregnant baby bump in the So they're going to go in there. They're going to use these woke flashcards, which are propaganda, to go ahead and teach kids, teach kids about color. Really, the lesson isn't teaching kids about colors. The lesson is teaching kids about ideology. That's what it was about. They're totally not coming for your kids, though. Not at all. Are you ready? This is the title. It's the main title. Look at the live stream. I'm out of time, so I gotta make this quick. A San Francisco middle school brought a drag queen to perform for students. Turn this up. Now watch the video and see. This is the drag queen. Oh, you gotta take it here. Oh, yeah. Teachers love it. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's amazing. So amazing. Just awesome stuff, right? Okay, now here's the thing. Right? Refresh this. That's the new TikTok option social. So this drag queen's name is hold on a second. So you can get over here. This is the second video. This is the second video of the drag queen. I'm not gonna play it because it doesn't do any good for most of it. It's not very entertaining. This is the drag queen at the San Francisco Middle School. The drag queen's name is Jizz, Nikki Jizz, for short. If you don't know what Jizz is, ask the 12-year-old next to you. Nikki Jizz was a drag queen that was hired by faculty at a public school and brought on public school grounds at a middle school to perform for children. Somebody named Jizz.
Oh my gosh.
Again, you think this is appropriate, you should probably be floating in space. So let's take a look at some of the, you go to a website called dragqueenmerch.com. You can get merchandise for famous drag queens because they're more than, you can get merchandise for, let's take a look at Nikki Jizz's merchandise, shall we? Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Wouldn't you know it, Nikki Jizz has a shirt that looks like, we'll just call it male excretions. How very appropriate. I'm so glad. I'm so very glad that they went ahead and brought this person to a middle school in San Francisco. Yeah, it's just it's a giant jizz shirt. It is. It's a shirt jizz. Good to know. What are some of the other products? Oh, masks. You got some jizz masks too.
Lovely.
Oh yeah. So appropriate for children, don't you think? Let's take a look at this other shirt here. Oh man, you've got a different type of jizz font with the cartoon depiction of said drag queen doing the splits, wearing a onesie and thigh highs. Yeah, that's exactly what we want in our public schools, right, ladies and gentlemen? And that let's take a look at the gold version of jizz. That jizz is designed to be gold-like. So the top font jizz is green, but then you look at the bottom here, and you've got another jizz. So Nikki up top is green jizz, and then on the bottom you've got regular-looking jizz that is stripping from the crotchal area of the drag queen depiction.
Who's going to win this race easily? Something happened.
This is who was brought to middle school students in San Francisco. So we had an individual here who makes pornography on OnlyFans, who went into the Boys and Girls Club. They were brought into the Boys and Girls Club. Now they're popular on TikTok for making cool TikTok content, but they link to their OnlyFans pornography us on mobile for those of you who do watch on mobile. And again, hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot. Share this with everybody. Share this with everybody with proper warnings, like, hey, you're going to run into some stuff that's not appropriate for kids. We're places here, but please, when you get a chance to watch this. This is a fraction of the stuff that has happened in the past 2 to 3 weeks since the last time I did one of these. I have a ton more. The idea that you can think that a 5-year-old tipping a stripper at a gay bar with a neon sign up right behind that kid that says it's not going to lick itself is somehow appropriate. You think that an 8-year-old petting some people dressed up as if they were animals and not wearing any clothes in the street is okay. If you think hiring a drag queen named Nikki Jizz, whose entire product line of clothing involves male excretions, if you think it's appropriate to hire them for middle school students, do us all a favor. Chew down a whole bottle of pills or blow your head off. See you this afternoon.
To this car, but it is not happy.
get me through. Obama's wife, happy your man. That's something I got no reason to prove. I always stick with the you, keep it the truth. Not only need to remove, come see the light that is beaming on you. You don't have a voice, I'm speaking for you.
The sound is triple. Sound is triple.
Yeah, I know. For one, the oil change was coming out of the DS4 and out of my speakers, and then it was being picked up by the microphone, played back for you. It's kind of crazy.
I got about a minute. Coach and French will join us at 5 o'clock to talk about a local drag show for kids.
You got headphones. You got headphones.
Those of you who watch the early show.
Do I have headphones? Yeah, I got headphones. I'm not going to use them to play the game, though. I need to hear my surroundings. I had a decent pair of Turtle Beach headphones that, you know, were pretty good as far as letting exterior noise and stuff through. You know, you can hear the game perfectly fine, but if someone's going to talk to you, you would hear them. And plus, it's not Atmos.
I'm not sure I can take the time off work. Well, here at Beacon, we offer screen tests at a variety of times and locations to help accommodate your work schedule. I'm going to give you a list of all the recommended tests with all the numbers.
As open backs. Open backs.
Thanks. I appreciate you making it so easy.
Right.
A healthy routine includes cancer screenings. Beacon Health System has a list of recommended screening tests and quick links to make an appointment on our website at beacon.health.
I'm not thinking right now, that's for sure. I don't know what I did to this thing, but
Something like DT770S.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. If you missed the early show today, I would encourage you to go watch it. It's another edition of the Totally Not Coming for Your Kids. We are going to expand upon that a little
Something
bit.
like HD6000S.
We have 5 o'clock.
DT770S are closed backs.
If you do go watch the
who makes them?
I'm just going to forewarn you, this is not content that is appropriate for kids. This is the first time that I put an explicit tag on the podcast, just so you're aware. It's pretty...
I mean, I'm actually interested in the PlayStation headphones. I still have extra money right now, you know?
Hey, don't do it at work, don't do it with kids around.
It costs $85 to fill your tank.
That you'll be okay.
And buying some new headphones is the least thing that I need to think about. I've got some Audio-Technica M50X. They're okay. You know, they sound good, plugged into the controller. But there's no mic.
HD60S are made by Sennheiser.
Yeah. I've got a Bluetooth adapter for my Audio-Technicas, but the friggin' game, or not the game, but the system, won't allow that Bluetooth microphone to be used. I'm looking at getting a boom for it, around $30.
Alright. So that's March 2020.
It's not high on the priority list, though.
Going out there and telling everybody
You know, right now, the audio is kind of wonky because the camera's pointing down at my feet. And I'm trying to work out the timing with my dead-end sound system, the audio delay. When I play the video back, you know, on YouTube or whatever, or Twitch, I can hear the delay and then go and adjust it some.
The person who accused him, her own witnesses rebuffed her own statements. She was lying. People still believe it. There are people who want Kavanaugh dead because of lies about him. Then you got this leak of
That's staying there.
alleged
At
possible
950.
decision here about Roe v. Wade. I also,
950 was
I
stock.
saw that some ugly woman decided to storm the WNBA game last night without a top on. So I'm sure that all because of Roe v. Wade, I'm sure that that will advance your cause substantially. Good on you for being active, I guess. I don't know. So a guy was arrested outside of the home of Brett Kavanaugh, Justice Kavanaugh. He was armed with a Glock. He had tools to break in and kidnap and everything else. He said he was there to kill him. All of this other stuff. And when you go back
50, 65, 5, 30, 30, 40, 40,
news media, not just
4 and 4,
talking about the news media,
2.5 and 2,
parroting that he
and then
was some kind
10 and 20. Alright, that's stock.
when there never was any evidence presented.
I'm over on PP, and I'm trying to figure out why.
There are people who, of course, did not pay attention to the trial at all, or the hearings, I should
This
say. They didn't pay
was
attention to any evidence whatsoever.
at 100,
They just knew that Blasey Ford had accused him of doing something.
and had
And
no
that she
weight.
couldn't remember any single detail about any of it. And all of her witnesses, which they didn't know because they didn't pay
And then
attention.
the ECU was down to 77.
One of the witnesses that she called said she was lying. This is the woman who alleged that she was raped mercilessly and then went back to those parties again after that.
Okay, so
Which
791.
is not the behavior of somebody who's a victim.
And then Turbo,
But there are people out there who still believe it. And then they think that he should die just because of that. But now you throw in there that, oh, Kavanaugh might be voting to repeal Roe v. Wade.
it's got a normal turbo on it still, and
Well, now you really have to
the
feel the guy, right?
anti-lag is on strong.
And I wrote an article about this, about Dallas a few years ago. Black Lives Matter activists went around the city murdering police officers. And I wrote that the media is responsible for the violence in Dallas last night. And I provided you a ton of examples of why they were responsible. And then I provided you with the actual scientific research on how the media was responsible for that violence. This is the type of stuff that has to stop in our news coverage. The news is not doing their job. The news is radicalizing. The news has not become a place where you go to get facts and data. It's a place you go to get propaganda. And that propaganda is increasingly designed to put people up into a frenzy. And when you have the lowest common denominator of people who are mentally ill, you're easily able to put
Question
them up into a
is,
frenzy. So they
what do I do with
start
Dan
kind of
Tranny?
stalking people. Hey, when did the Republicans play baseball? I'll go to the park where the Republicans play baseball and I'll try and shoot all of the Republicans on the baseball field because I support Bernie Sanders and I really hate Republicans. Or I'll show up to Kavanaugh's house and I will try and execute Kavanaugh. Now, I want to remind everybody that something happened in the midst of all of this effort here after that memo about Roe v. Wade was leaked. There was an attempt to dox every Supreme Court justice. And you remember the White House even said, no, it's not a big deal, who cares? People protest in my house all the time, Chuck Schumer said, right? And of course, it's not the same thing. I highlighted how it wasn't the same thing. I broke down the law and how this is all very criminal and very illegal. And the Department of Justice isn't prosecuting anybody for doing this, in spite of the fact that it's against federal law for you to be protesting outside of the Supreme Court justice's home. Any attempt to sway an officer of the court or a witness of the court in any ruling that they will be making is a federal crime. It is not a crime to lobby your elected representatives. But they continue to allow this to happen. And the Department of Justice didn't do anything about it. And as people were constantly doxing the Supreme Court justice and where they live, some of them had to flee their homes and go into hiding. That always gets left out of the media. Why doesn't the media ever point out that Supreme Court justices actually had to pack up and move their families because of the threats on their lives that day. So what happened is some people in Congress said, okay, first of all, this is illegal. If you're not going to do anything about it, we need at least extra security for Supreme Court justice. And the Democrats said, no extra security. Okay. So now we've got a guy showing up at Rick Kavanaugh's house at 4 years old. That is all directly correlated with left-wing ideology in this country. That's not happening. I realize that a lot of times we'll say, oh, because Sarah Palin had a graphic on a target, that means that she wants people to be killed. That's hyperbole. That's stupid. But you literally made this man out to be a serial rapist when he isn't. When people were doxing his house, no one did anything. The White House said it was fine. Chuck Schumer said it was fine. Even though
Good morning, Dave. Emoji waving hand.
anybody who committed this crime by going to the House of Supreme Court Justice in order to affect their opinion on a court ruling, which is against the law. And then when things started getting out of control, as people were saying, oh, peaceful protests, they were peaceful protests that police officers
come on,
were
idiot.
assaulted. They were peaceful protests, they were peaceful protests to windows were broken around the area. They were peaceful protests.
Yeah, okay, that shouldn't be happening.
Vandalizing the neighborhood. That wasn't peaceful protesting. And some people asked for additional security and police protection for Supreme Court justice, and they were told no. And now we've got a guy sitting outside the House of Supreme Court Justice trying to kill him. Now what happens if Rick happens to be somebody like me who's out late and will take the trash cans out late at night sometimes? What happens if that happens? Just got killed. Because of rhetoric. And
Coming here.
the ends justify the means, right? So after this guy got arrested, McConnell rarely does anything right. McConnell blasted House Democrats for blocking security for SCOTUS justices. After reports stated an armed man was arrested outside Supreme Court Justice Rick Kavanaugh's home and allegedly wanted to kill Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell in Texas. Slammed House Democrats on Wednesday for not passing a bill to police protection for Supreme Court justices and their families. Two people familiar with the investigation said the initial evidence indicates that the man was angry about the leaked draft of an opinion.
Good morning, Alto. How are you?
They were going to be preparing to overturn Roe v. Wade. Okay? Now again, we still don't know how that's going to go. It's a draft. We still don't know where we're putting it. House Democrats must pass this bill, and they need to do it today because just moments ago, the Washington Post published an extremely disturbing reporting again. According to the report, a man in his mid-20s was stopped near the house of a Supreme Court justice carrying a weapon and burglary tool. He reportedly told police that he intended to murder the justice. Reportedly, he indicated that he was angry at the decision that he thinks the court may reach.
I am fairly decent. Hey, what race are you running?
A few weeks ago. This is where we are, McConnell said. This is where we are, Mr. President. If these reports are correct, an assassination attempt against a sitting justice or something close to it. This is exactly the kind of event that many fear. We warned you about it. We did. Every other show that I know of warned you about it. But the terrible breach of the court's rules and norms could fuel. This is exactly the kind of event that many worry the unhinged, reckless, apocalyptic rhetoric promoted figures towards the court, going back many months and especially recent weeks, could make more likely.
Oh, that's not good.
He turned to the bill.
I know that I saw them, but is it a manufacturer
This is
race?
exactly why the Senate passed legislation.
Alright, hang on a second. I'm going to have to pause and read
To
it.
enhance the police protection of justice and their families. This is common sense, not controversial legislation. It passed in this chamber unanimously. But House Democrats have spent weeks blocking the measure that passed here unanimously related to security for Supreme Court justices, he rewrote. The House Democrats have refused to take it up. Now look, Mr. President, that needs to change. It needs to change right now. Mitch McConnell's rarely right. He's right about this.
No, it's not a manufacturer race. It's the World Touring Car 800 PP. It's one of the grind races that we have right now. I think it pays what, you know, 720 or 725,000 every race, depending on the car, anywhere from 27 minutes down to 20. Yeah. The NSX, the Group 2 NSX, there's two of them. They're both good here. The newer one, the 2016, you gotta have a good setup to be able to get the PP down and still have power to just run nuts.
And that's good credits for that.
Yeah, it's good payout.
Unicorn farts and ponies?
It's a good payout.
95.3 M&C. Casey Hendrickson.
You know, a lot of people are complaining about the Tomahawk thing, but
I've got the message here too.
yep.
All right.
I need to find a setup for this car.
Although GR2 I am a little sketchy with LOL.
It's slow, it needs power. I'm just using the normal turbo. I can't use the medium or the higher VM turbos. You know, unless I can find a setup on GT Planet or something.
Oh, you can actually tune the car for this one?
Yeah. You gotta turn down the power. You gotta turn down the ECU. You can add ballast. Moving the ballast forward or backward 1 point can make a big difference, and that's a bit nuts.
ILL drop power before I ever had rage.
Wow, and I'm missing shifts. I'm getting double up shifts, or sometimes it's not even shifting at all. Gotta find some videos and see if I can clean out whatever is causing it to not function properly. Still waiting for a Thrustmaster to release their direct drive wheel. Everything is screwed up right now. I can't even get coffee creamer. I like the M&M's coffee creamer. Last time we bought it was like maybe a month ago, and the stores haven't had it. My wife has been looking for the last 3 weeks. Now I'm completely out of it. The rationing is over. You can't even find a Team GT2 Amazon had it, but there was like a 4 to 6 week wait, and now it's just saying unavailable for the core wheel, just the wheel itself minus the pedals. Because that's what I would want to get. But on Thrustmaster's Twitter, oh my gosh, come on. I'm not happy with this car. You gotta watch out. Make sure you do, when you're exiting, you go to the right because they will go straight through you. And they won't spin out or anything. They just keep going. They bring back the LFA. I guess this car replaced it, the RCF. It definitely likes high RPM.
I don't know yet. It's just a theory. Just a working theory that I have. Something else that's not getting reported in the media is how missiles keep getting fired on. There's another fireball life building that just happened this week. Compass Air Buffalo was fired on by abortion terrorists. So that is another one. They have been threatened. They had used various rhetoric online, and all of that stuff. They get different chains clear and all of that, which is a abortion slogan. But this is just another example, just the latest example of how there was a it's domestic terrorist attack. I don't know how else you refer to it. It's domestic terrorist attack. The other side always mentions that if you ever shoot a Planned Parenthood, that's a domestic terrorist attack. So, hey, it's good for them, it's good for us, right? This is just the latest example of a fireball clinic that is anti-abortion. Some of Wiles and other gymnasts have asserted a $1 million claim against the FBI. Lawyers for Simone Biles and other gymnasts announced they were asserting claims against the FBI on the agency law and irregularities in the Nassar case. Nassar pled guilty in 2017 and 2018 to multiple state and federal charges, including child pornography, evidence tampering, and sexual assault of minors. He was sentenced to over 100 years in prison. But get the gymnasts together, and they are seeking more than $8 million from the FBI for failing to stop the doctor. The agency first received allegations against him, according to lawyers today. There's no dispute that FBI
Oh, I lifted off the brake. Should have stayed on it. I had it all the way down, and I lifted off just a little bit. When I should not have. And it was too late to gather it back up completely. Oh shit. Now we're getting sloppy.
It is time for the FBI to be held accountable.
Tired.
Nichols, a national champion gymnast in Oklahoma. Under federal law, the government agency has 6 months to respond to the tort claims filed today, and then lawsuits could follow depending on the FBI.
I'm changing cars after this race.
So, and once again, just another example of how the FBI.
I really love this car too.
Leadership of the FBI is they're so focused. This is the thing about the FBI. A lot of people are looking at them. I think they're screwed up. Here's the deal: the FBI is so focused on political crap and being the military arm of the Democratic Party, and they're focused on investigating things that aren't really important, that are relevant and are real, that they let real things go. So in 2015, they're told this guy is raping young women and girls, and they didn't do anything about it. So the attacks continue, and now the FBI has been basically asserting this $1 million claim. We'll see
almost got plowed.
Now they violate multiple lawsuits against the
Outsiders.
more than $1 million. That is my assumption. San Francisco, I spent a ton of time on this, but I do think this is very, very interesting. This kind of came up in the early show today, not this specific story, but district attorneys funded by George Soros.
Oh shit.
Not putting people behind bars, if those people being predators or children. But San Francisco voted overwhelmingly to oust the George Soros prosecutor there. This is a big deal. This is San Francisco right now. So Bud was the district attorney there. He's one of these DAs that George Soros funded and swept into office with massive gobs of money. And all of those DAs don't put people behind bars. It's a catch and release system. It's one of these routine things that you see with every Soros-funded DA. And the idea behind it is they're only going to prison people white families. Everybody else is disadvantaged.
Break set too.
So that's kind of what we've been seeing. And San Francisco has been overrun with, violence, drug abuse, homeless people defecating on the streets, and that sort of stuff we talked about many, many times on the show. I'm not going to do too much on this. Dan Bongino just did a little big piece on it, so if you missed that, go listen to his podcast today. But what we ended up finding out was interesting about this, that 60% of voters supported the recall in San Francisco. This guy is a non-tough-on-crime criminal justice reform. It's not their fault they had a bad childhood type guy. So since he took office in January of 2020, robberies have gone up 45%, homicides have increased 37%. And a lot of those homicides were people who were arrested for previous crime that he let out. This is catch and release system that DAs are doing all over the country. So he was rejected by 60% of the vote. Most of the votes that came in came from minority low-income areas. The ones who opposed the recall came from wealthy white neighborhoods. Very interesting. So then he goes out, he pitches a hissy fit because he's pathetic. He pitches a hissy fit. He's like, billionaires that ousted me now. It's no. As Bongino said, that you're only in office because of a billionaire. That's the whole reason you're in office. You were thrown out of office by low-income minorities in the San Francisco area. They're the ones that didn't like the fact that you were letting village back into their neighborhood. That's the truth. Which is basically right. Got some interesting things coming up from the White House. Some reporters next. News 95 Machines News Channel. It's news time 3:32. Check out Impress Jewelry Creations, creating meaningful jewelry for moments that will last a lifetime. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. It's so pathetic. Just a truly pathetic case, this guy. dude. Like, you gotta be 21 to buy beer.
I just turned my console off. Server maintenance starts in 15 minutes, so it said.
Just pick one. If you want the age to be an adult at 21, I'm fine with that. But everything has to be 21 now, including voting. And they keep trying to lower the voting age to like 13.
Okay.
And
all right, I gotta wrap this up then.
Recently was lower the voting age to 13. And,
oh shit.
You can't
so it's quarter to 2
to be able to have a
here in Michigan.
Firearm, you're adult enough to be able to vote in elections.
I'll be done.
Yeah, it's,
got 14 minutes.
That would be an interesting thing.
Get done and saved.
Somebody's got to build a case.
Should be able to. Unless I drive real slow for some stupid reason.
And honestly, making all of that stuff makes sense.
Yup, I am here in Walter, just north of Grand Rapids myself.
So it would make sense to push it to 21 for everything, or just an adult to 21. And there's so many institutions that go along with it because 18-year-olds to fill your ranks in the military and other stuff.
Oh shit. No, can't do that.
Exactly.
Can't fuck me.
That's just it. I just want some
Wow, they reset you so far back.
Just pick one or the other.
The tires are kind of shit too.
You don't have to be somewhat range, whatever.
Damn it.
You want to restrict your behavior.
I was getting first every single race with this car. Was.
So you change the age for them. I'm staring at. This is actually really should be. I'm staring at another one. I posted this on True. I'm staring at a little kid.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because of the arrow or if there's bumps on the track, but down the front straight there's the wheels shaking a good bit.
I'm old enough to remember when the entire country was I remember that. Everybody thought it was awful. What was happening was pageants. And now all of a sudden we're missing pageants are okay as long as we're dressing in drag. They're not okay. We might have to be getting pageants. We're dressing in drag, so right here.
It has probably some bumps in the tracks.
I don't think I'm going to be winning this race. I don't like when tires go bad. I like sticky tires.
What compound do they let you use?
Everybody, Casey Anderson here. Most people
I thought about pitting.
just wear them for a little bands and they take fun. What do they call those people? Losers. They're losers. They didn't go to MyPillow.com and get the ice slipper where they have an exclusive frontier cushioning system. They're run by MyPillow out of the building. You can't get any other slipper in the world. Layer number 2, you have comfortable memory foam. Then you have layer 3, which is a patented impact gel. And then of course layer 4 is that extremely sturdy indoor outdoor sole, which means
shit. Come on, shitty tires. Bring me home. Fuck.
$90. Again, mypillow.com. Scroll down to radio listeners. Click on slippers. Promo code Casey.
What the fuck is that?
I'll be honest with you, I'm just trying to go to the house here and get ahead of some stuff. There's a lot of stories that are out there, and I just have not had enough time to talk about them, so I've had to here in the first portion of the show to bring you up to date on some of the things that are happening. The mass exodus away from the White House is still happening, and there's a lot of reports coming out of the White House. I always tell you, take these things with a bit of grace. We know that people are leaving, but we don't know the specifics of all of it. There's some stuff that comes out. Occasionally you get stuff that leaks out of the White House, and most of the time that stuff isn't always accurate. So just take it with a grain of salt. But you know that there's something happening in the White House. We just don't know exactly what the circumstance is. Massive exodus.
Always racing tires all around.
And it seems to be a connection with some of the reports we've seen. So this is the Daily Wire. The exodus of staff from the White House continues this week. It reports that Biden is frustrated that his message is not getting out.
Viper's probably gonna pit.
Your message isn't getting out because you're in.
Oh my gosh, you asshole.
Every time you open your
dick.
mouth, if we can understand what you're saying, it is a demonstrable, debunked lie that has already been debunked months ago. You don't actually say anything that has any value, which is why your message is not getting out.
I will not be winning this
Your
race.
message is, I'm dishonest. We're all getting that. At one point before, he reminded people around him that he's still the president. I'm assuming, I don't know, but I'm assuming that
Got some power back.
I don't know for sure. White House Rapid Response Director Mike Wynn and the White House Press Assistant Michael
The drivers are brilliantly stupid.
are both leaving to serve in public affairs at the U.S. Treasury, which is having its own problem, and explaining soaring inflation. Just trying to tell you as well people at record level. Master, great. On a sad note, our dear friend and colleague Michael Wynn.
Oh, come on now.
Where he will serve as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Affairs. That is going to be the White House Press Secretary, Green and Jean Pierre. She says some other stuff. Who cares what she says? Biden lost his main spokesperson, Jen Psaki, last month when she departed for a job at MSNBC.
What time is it?
Nothing weird about that. White House last week also announced the Assistant Press Secretary.
I am not even sure they were smart enough to call stupid on his
Oh
phone.
shit! I looked down at my phone and that happened. I had enough time. I thought. I was gonna look at the phone and get on the brakes real quick, and it was too late.
In the White House. NBC News. By the way, as a byplay to the White House, there is that. Posted a piece last week headline Inside
Oh come on, yeah, now you're gonna break.
Been a rolling series of calamities that seem to erode ratings of the president's vice president. Feeling lately is that he just can't catch a break. And hates this ruling.
No, I'm not getting gas.
You can't catch a break because everything you do is stupid.
Ain't doing it.
Every policy position you have is dumb. You can't catch a break because you're an idiot. You're incompetent. You shouldn't be serving.
Come on, give me the money.
Did you see he fell?
Yep, I just. Did you see that notification?
Did you see he
That corner is something else. Something else.
Yeah. Fuck, that was brutal.
upstairs than Joe Biden is Hillary Clinton?
That did not
Two
help.
people we know in public life can't navigate stairs. Washington Post piled on with another piece. White House scrambles on inflation after Biden complains to aides.
Come on now, hurry up. Come on.
AIDS, not like the virus. which said that Biden fumes privately that administration isn't doing enough to show concern on high prices.
I couldn't get out until they filled completely.
Dude, you have specifically been asked about concern on high prices. You brushed it off as nonsensical. Remember, for months, it was a right-wing conspiracy that prices were going up and that inflation was going up. Remember that? He even said, oh yeah, all the experts say it's going to come back down. Yeah, it's a big deal. You're the one who brushed it off. You're the one who didn't take measures when you could have taken measures. You're the one that caused it. White House launched a new point Tuesday to take
That's crazy. That's crazy.
In roughly 4 decades. Yeah, this is a guy who just lied to everybody the other
Wow.
day and said households are carrying less debt.
You got 4 minutes till it shuts down.
Household debt's gone up $1 trillion since your first month in office, dude. Now, how long has he been in office? What, a year and a half? He's been in office a year and a half.
Alright, let's take a look and see what's in here before they update it. Nope, no thank you.
So that race is a GR2 race then?
Yeah, that NSX, or even the older one, the Group 2, there's 2 of them.
No race
they're
Suzuka
both-
circuit.
What's that? Have I done Suzuka? No.
I don't really know how else to explain it other than to just
In sport?
constantly issue ad hominem attacks against them. The problem is that they're all factually correct. It comes off as like I'm just beating the guy up, but they're all true. So what's happening in the news media? That's a great question. We'll talk about that coming up. News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel.
Oh, the time trial. Yep.
I ran Suzuka 200.
Wow, 102.
El Pinto. El Pinto de Guado.
Oh, what did I use before? Just show me the damn cars I can use. Crying out loud. I think I was in the Supra. I think.
Lol, I used the Mustang.
Did ya? Tires. What do you want me to put on? Medium? Oh, we got 2 minutes. Damn it. I gotta hit the head.
Honestly, David, that's a fairly decent car on Suzuka.
Yeah? Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I can do that here too if you want.
It will be maintenance.
I can do Debbie's tab now. Her story ties with another story that I had later in the show, so I can just do that now. Won't do the blurbs. You see that dude in California, the 16-year-old who stole the car and ran over a mom and her infant baby? You see they only got 5 to 7 months? You see that? They didn't even charge him with attempted murder or assault with a deadly weapon or anything. They want to ruin his life trying to murder a woman and her kid. I love it, man. They brought back the Trump golf memes. So I think the best Trump golf meme ever was when he hit the golf ball and hit Mike, and Mike fell on Air Force One. So they brought that back now.
Nope, it's down. Server's down. Yay! What are they gonna do, and how long is it gonna take? Hopefully it won't be 30 hours.
Man. What a mess. What a freaking mess. You know, Rumble, I'm a little disappointed. In their viral section, there's not one story about monkeypox. It's not okay. That's not a viral section if you don't have monkeypox. All right, you're on read that. That's it. Okay.
Shit. So that means we can't do liveries or anything at all right now. Fuck. They gotta start storing information locally. Does this mean I can't even get in the garage? If that's the case, that's fine.
Estrada. Oh, that's amazing. Dude was born to be a police officer.
Can't even get in the garage. Nope. Not even in the car that I was in. Wow.
5-Star Painting coming to our house. The amazing service that we get from 5-Star Painting, and they're going to be painting the exterior of our house here in the next couple of weeks. Waiting for the power washer to show up and get that taken care of. A little bit of a late jump because of the weather.
It seems like it's all about inconveniencing the game buyer.
The interior paint. They paint everything. And they're going to be doing a bunch of stuff, including the railing out front that we have that's a bit messed up. They're going to fix that and clean that all up, and they're going to do a bunch of stuff around the trim of the windows and all of that too.
Wow.
And they're even going
Kidding me?
to paint the foundation where our basement is to really make it stand out and pop. They're going to do a lot of really cool stuff to really improve the curb appeal and we hope the value of our home. But if nothing else, just being able to pull up and see the house look nice the way that we like it is going to be reward enough. And just really professional company to work with. But you know, a lot of people right now are trying to figure out how to get the maximum amount of dollar out of their house. Maybe you're going to start doing some of the upgrades inside instead of selling the home or buying another home. And one of those things is the kitchen. They paint kitchen cabinets. 5-Star Painting can come in and completely redo your kitchen cabinets, and it'll be like you have an entirely new kitchen. Go to 5starpainting.com, get a free consultation and color consultation today. Those are two different things, but you can come at the same time if you want to. And the rest of that I sent you, because you'll get free paint for your project. And the price of paint right now is going up. So if you get free paint, you're going to be saving a lot of ducats. Go to 5starpainting.com, mention me, and again, you get free painting with your project. 5starpainting.com.
That's the short course that we had for Manu, isn't it?
All right, let's take a look at cable news ratings. It's been a bad week for some of the more
this is the short course.
Media outlets. Washington Post is seemingly on fire. CNN is openly hinting that it might be axing some of its liberal news hosts, and MSNBC just hit a 23-year ratings low. The Washington Post has had probably the worst month. And I don't mean just this month, I mean like the past 4 weeks. They've probably had the worst month in the history of the newspaper. They have had to issue multiple corrections, multiple fake news stories. Taylor Lorenz continues to print false stories that they're being forced to correct. It has been a disaster over the Washington Post. Seemingly on fire is not a positive nomenclature at all. That place is burning down. MSNBC, even with adding Jen Psaki over there, 23-year ratings low in the adult demographic 25-54, which is their
How
target.
you doing, Dave bro? MOG thumbs up.
Even more bad news for CNN this week, though.
Who is that?
Seems like people are getting sick of what they're selling. Fox News obliterated the competition.
What are you doing up, Brigsby? How are you?
1.3 million viewers from May 30th through June 5th.
Were you racing?
And you guessed
And all of a sudden, poof!
CNN, MSNBC.
You got punted?
Nope. Yes, Ben. With the number 2 rated cable.
That's it, huh?
HGTV.
No weather or nothing.
Dude, you guys lost to the people who teach you how to use egg crates to make lawn furniture in your backyard. Fox News averaged 1.3 million viewers from May 30th through June 5th to lead all of basic cable. Number 2, HGTV averaged only 562,000. You realize number 2, folks, number 2 has got 800,000 less viewers than
To me,
Fox
even a
does.
T80 wheel and pedals were better than using the controller. I was actually doing a few laps per manufacturer, LOL.
50,000.
Ooh.
MSNBC had a 23-year ratings low and still walloped CNN by 200,000 viewers. That's how bad it is at CNN. The networks failed to top Fox News completely.
You know, for sport, I was using the controller, but I was using motion control, and that gives you more range for steering. And I also had some trigger extenders, but I had cheap ones, and they're prone to popping off depending on how hard you pull the triggers. But having the extension helped a lot. I was just too lazy to move my wheel around.
Now, when you add all the Fox's competition together, they don't equal Fox's ratings. It's continuing to get worse. Fox isn't like blowing up and adding new viewers. People just aren't watching the other ones. Fox is only
Missing
averaging
shifts.
3 million viewers that week. Okay? It's not a small audience by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not like it's this massive audience. 1.3 million viewers. It's staggering how bad it is for competition right now. And it's not
A T80 was
come
my first wheel I
on,
had to
you
do 2
assholes.
because of my
Oh my
setup.
gosh,
I'm
these guys
faster
are
on
fucking
controllers.
terrible.
LOL, stop train
These
mode
guys are
controller,
fucking
LOL.
terrible.
just bad. That is an epic fail that gets worse.
Good grief. They're so rude.
Of 8 to 11 p.m. Remember, Fox News, the only one that isn't going to carry the January 6th.
Wow.
They're going to carry Tucker Carlson.
For me, the sensitivity of the LG button isn't enough. It seems like I really got to depress it way hard to get the cars to stop.
So Fox News dominated the primetime hours of H1, averaging over 2 million viewers, with number 2 ESPN finished with an average primetime audience of 1.5. MSNBC averaged 800,000, finished 9th, and CNN failed to crack the top 10.
At least, you know, the
Networks with dismal primetime average audience of 600.
World Touring Car 800 PP, we get paid for that.
I am fairly sick with the controller, but it is really hard on my hands.
This is my power.
Yeah, that's pretty.
As we get into some other stuff we're talking about today, this is the game that
I'm really good with the pressure sensitivity on controller, but the wheel has more rotation.
MSNBC 23-year ratings.
It's crazy how lighting can change everything about a track.
25 to 52-year-old demo continue to get worse than ever. Had its worst week of demo viewers all day in prime time since 1999. Who beat MSNBC in the ratings?
Oh, come on.
Animal, Travel Channel, Sci-Fi, Freeform, E1, FXX, not FX, FXX. I don't even know what they have on that channel. VET and TLC. Those are some of the 32 basic cable networks who outperformed MSNBC.
I'm not reading your
You
comments
can
out loud.
always adjust your
I
temporary
don't read well
exposure.
out loud.
If I could get the cars to rotate just a fuzz better, that'd be great, but I am also using an auto gearbox.
3.28 million viewers, with Tucker Carlson coming in a close second at 3.2 million. Yow.
Downshift another gear. You're talking about on entry or exit? Or in the
Oh
middle?
my gosh, imagine getting beat by the Travel Channel.
What a lot of people do, they'll downshift.
They're the ones
Like Z28, I saw him do it. This is the first time I've seen it done.
It's MSNBC.
You know, he'll enter a turn
doing that.
and be in second and then drop down to first just to rotate and then upshift back to second and then accelerate.
Getting beat by the
It all depends on the car.
On the controller it is too hard for me to use a manual gearbox. Oh yeah, that auto will cost you over time. You gotta try and get used to a manual.
Yeah, it does take time to learn. It absolutely does. Absolutely. It does take time to learn. You ever driven a stick in real life, though? That helps. Yes, it's muscle memory. Alright, see if we can catch these idiots. 6 years, no 7, huh?
It takes time, brother. For me it is not the learning to use a manual, that's literally that it hurts my hands to do it.
Oh, come on! Oh my gosh. You go from a friggin' race car to this thing.
I've been driven manual gearbox every summer and think
I can't see the information at the very bottom of the screen. It's way too low.
My first time was a manual transmission, emotion faced with tears of joy. I used the R2L2 controller setup to shift the tip of my thumb controls, the downshifts with the shift and the upshifts with the mid-pointed.
Come on.
That might work for me for maybe 5 or 6 laps and then I am done.
Can you brake a little earlier?
Don't you try to set up on the sardine grind track that I showed earlier in my stream.
I wonder if they ever change these liveries. If they do, how often? Oh, fuck.
Too much manual dexterity with arthritis in my hands. LOL, I've never seen them change before.
Wow, that's really damn bright, man.
The 22 leads the same mark as the 223 or 5.6, which is the ammo.
That's really bright.
Here is the 9mm, which is the most common handgun. Compare these two to the 357 or the 5, and you'll see which causes the most damage. And of course, you know anything about guns. A 9mm weapon is not remotely considered to be high caliber. Yet, he's just making
Hello man, yeah, that will make it harder to use a controller for me. I have a back problem, so sitting on my bed for my real hurts after.
Why is it comparing owning a 22 or a 9mm to owning a cannon? Oh, I know. It's because it's scary. I mean, listen, can you even pronounce the word exponentially?
Increases the prospects of school satisfaction. Exponential.
Sorry.
Increase the exponential prospects of their success. All studies show that increase exponential.
I'm tired of the guy racing cars.
I am usually within 3 seconds a lap of the fastest guys, even using the auto gearbox. Emoji face with tears of joy.
Anyway, it's crucial to take seriously a president not only lies about the United States Constitution.
Blocking the sun with your hand doesn't help.
That's really impressive, especially using an auto.
Fuckers.
I can live with that. Unfortunately, I am not competitive with them.
Since then, Biden has repeated this stupid line again and again and again.
We, the people, we hold these truths, etc. Sounds corny, but it's real. We hold these truths to be self-evident. That all men and women.
Yeah, I feel you there. I feel you there.
We are unique. It sounds corny. Fight for the proposition. It sounds corny. We hold these truths to be self-evident. That all men and women are created equal. We hold these truths.
Fuck.
Done right.
I've learned you really got to be on your braking and acceleration points.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host,
I'm still out of shape, man.
One of the RV car company locations in South
Muscles are aching that haven't ached in years. The last time I was using my rig on a daily basis was
One of the main things
GT6.
causing supply chain crisis. This is last year, probably early November. Maybe it was even a little earlier than that. As it was rending, the holiday season. Hey, what's gonna happen with all the presents and things like that? And I told you that there
How I
was
see
a
it, would I
tariff
rather have a clean race and finish in last rather than be a dirty driver and get first.
these chassis. Now, these chassis are the chassis that we use to move the shipping containers around. So if you don't have chassis, you can't move
Years
shipping
ago on
containers,
my
which means
first
the
deep
shipping
shift I
containers
was on the world
stay
leaderboards.
dock, stay circling the dock, which is why we had so many boats and still do out there in the middle of the ocean, not able to dock in our ports because you didn't have the chassis to actually move.
Absolutely. Emoji 100
Now,
points.
there is
Excuse
one
emoji
country
thumbs up.
that makes a lot of these chassis, and only one,
Jeez.
and that is China. They're very affordable. They work. Is it ideal? Absolutely not. So what happened is there's a company in the United States that also makes these chassis, much smaller company. They went to the Biden administration as a union operation and said, we want to make these chassis. We don't want the Chinese making these chassis.
Oh, come
That's
on,
true.
turn it
Never
up.
really liked NFSLOL. I liked the thing with designing the cars, but yeah,
Because we're
haha.
union, help us make these chassis. We have primary supply of chassis.
So did they purposely make this car crappy?
For the record, I'm in favor of making the chassis here in the country. So what the Biden administration did is they put a 100% tariff on the chassis, doubling the price of the chassis. Nobody doubled
What's
the
it
price of the
got?
chassis. Nobody can afford the chassis anymore. So we
Racing
have
Hearts.
chassis.
Okay. It is
So
Racing
we have
Hearts.
shipping containers coming in at increasingly large rates.
This feels like a marshmallow.
The shipping containers off of the boats. We also didn't have enough chassis to put the shipping
For me,
containers
it
out of
was all
storage
about tuning the cars to make them go around the track faster than most everyone
So
else.
because the storage warehouses were full, anything that did come up the boat didn't
I'm making a
actually
lot of
go.
mistakes.
And then California wasn't letting trucks in because they
I've got moments that
trucks, the environmental
amaze myself.
So trucks weren't able
You know, if I
to
could
move
repeat
anything
it,
everything just sat
I
there.
believe them, but you know, I've learned things.
Speaking of designing cars, I
I'm just
have
making a lot of
posted
dumb
open motors.
mistakes.
You're welcome to use them and add your own twist on them if you want to package grid speed.
The industry
Yeah, I just make a lot of dumbass mistakes
to
that,
temporarily
you know, slow you down.
eliminate the 100% cost increase.
That braking early enough,
These chassis coming from
being too
China.
close to the
Think
wall,
the car is
and there's all kinds of little corners and
optimized.
shit that are jutting out on this track.
Enough of them. They were cheaper now than the Chinese version, but they weren't able to make enough
I
to
used the
actually deal with the
taillight sizing
supply
of
beef.
cars in the
China's just got
1.0
guns
class with
and
my
things sitting around.
6.7 Shelby
And they could've sent tons of them,
GT500
and the
Energy
supply chain
winking
prices
face.
would have been dramatically lower leading into the Christmas season. The Biden administration's response to the industry to allow the tariff to temporarily subside so the supply chain crisis could be dealt with through the holiday season was believe you.
Oh, there it is again.
Or something to that effect. That's not a correct quote, but I assume it's a correct quote. So they had
The
a
sun should be moving, but it's not.
to make your life easier by temporarily reducing a tariff that had only been placed there because of lobbyists or the steel industry.
Yet I do enjoy doing tunes, but it's too easy for people to manipulate tunes.
One place in the United States makes these chassis,
I gotta look up videos for the T500
and they can't produce them
not
fast.
shifting
They were starting from scratch.
or missing shifts.
Today. So to make your life easier, to make the supply chain actually start functioning again,
Hopefully it's just a dirty contact or something.
you need more chassis.
I've got 99% alcohol, and I've also got some contact here if need
GT500
be.
is a beast LOL.
California said,
I really got one video on my channel of a race on shift LOL.
everything, no baby formula, you got a bunch of other stuff, it's just expensive. The baby formula isn't really because of that, but it was thrown in there anyway because, you know, the baby coming in. They had an opportunity to fix a big chunk of our supply chain issues, but they chose not to.
Nice.
And it was all about tariffs. All of it. All they had to do was eliminate until we got the backlog clear, which allowed the American company to produce chassis in the meantime. So by the time the backlog clears, the American company has chassis to ship. Supply chain continues to function normally. Eventually, it can go over to an American steel company making these chassis and away from China, which I support. But that wasn't feasible at the time. They had an
2856
opportunity
pounds
to
and
fix the
859 horsepower and 683 pounds of torque. Emoji smiling face with
So
horns.
instead, what did they do? They
Late.
allowed the supply chain crisis to get worse. People who just didn't show up for
Damn it.
work like any man would do.
You know, the hood is out there. The nose of the car is out there, and just tap the wall. Otherwise, the wall would come all the way up to the gauges,
They don't just sit there.
like
Is
in,
there any
you know, a bumper cam.
LOL just playing with the chat back LOL.
You have an important position, and you're supposed to go. You chose not to because you're lazy.
This car just feels like it needs freaking tires,
People's lives are dramatically affected by it.
but the tires are not wearing
It had
out.
to happen. There's two things to fix the problem.
Can't change them anyway.
Entire show. They chose not to do it.
Emoji face with tears of joy. Emoji face with tears of joy.
Those chassis. But they did take the tariff off of the
I
Chinese.
think the car needs more than LOL.
This is going to fix the problem. Let's go and fix an industry that nobody's relying on right now. In the midst of all sorts of pricing, right? Let's do that. It's not like we propped up a solar company for no reason or anything like that.
My game is updating. Emoji face with
Maybe if
symbols
it
on
would have
mine.
happened in the past, we could have called it something stupid like Splinter or something like that. You know, but nobody ever named a company Splinter. It's dumb. Especially if you spell the C, because Splinter obviously is supposed to be similar to Splinter. It's not. MSNBC has a regular guest on there. He's an exercise.
Oh, damn it!
That's all MSNBC is.
Hopefully the FFB problem will be fixed after the update.
To relieve tariffs on solar panels. Okay, again, you
know what we need? Lotus. We need to get Lotus back in this game.
Nobody cares about the solar industry. It's not important in anybody's life, except for the people in the solar industry, which are not that many people. That's the truth. It's not important.
The old Lotus F1 car.
Mine is upgrading too.
Absolutely nothing. It doesn't fix the power grid. It doesn't fix the jobs. It doesn't fix inflation. It doesn't fix.
I wonder how much the Escudo is going to cost. 25 million? 30
I
million?
want the MGOL
50 million?
Chinese solar.
Could you imagine if this Escudo costs 50 million bucks? That will be insane.
Also, headline Chinese Communist Party.
No, what the bill needs is to be reacted 3 times, maybe it'll work better. LOL.
I wonder where the idea to end the tariffs for Chinese solar panels. Hey,
I don't know if the code indicates the value of it, well, which would fluctuate anyway because of Haggerty.
shortly before urging the White House to
ILL never urged for the ridiculous amount.
I wonder how much we're paying here. I wonder how much we are paying Haggerty.
to the White House and said, we know how to fix the supply chain issue. We can do 2 things. Ask California when drugs in and drop the tariff on
Emoji
these
face
chassis.
with tears of joy. Emoji face with tears of joy. Emoji face with tears of joy. Sounds like a lot of sardine grinding if they make it look expensive. LOL.
This guy goes to a Chinese Communist Party event.
You know, some of these cars that they've got in the game, if they were acquired or sold at Barrett Jackson, they should at least mention that. Because, you know, Haggerty is part of the whole Barrett Jackson thing.
2 things that needed to happen to make your life easier, to make sure that you got supplies throughout this country and the shelves. The 2 things that needed to happen, they spit in your face.
7-2 so far for the
One
update.
thing, which is in the exact same category of
Right,
the other, which is
haha.
the tariff on Chinese goods, that will not fix a single problem we have right now. They were willing to accommodate. I find that to be very interesting. Always remember this stuff. I've got a thing that I'm playing on the live stream here. I'm going to do it for you.
Let me know if the FFB feels better after the
About the
update.
solar industry and how we're scamming. I'll play it for you coming up. We're starting 95 British channels. Which channel? Casey Hendrickson. 95. Alright, everything. Yep. Everything we know. Not only does China not use these solar panels we use,
I had so much hope that Drive Club was going to be amazing,
uses renewable energy.
but it just, nope.
Because it was cheaper to
They tried.
That story too.
I bought all the DLC and shit for Drive Club.
My internet is slow. Emoji disappointed face.
It was on paper.
You know, you should be able to get a break on fiber through AT&T.
Still got 4 minutes left. Emoji disappointed face. 86.
So it was before then because it was an update. On October 15th, they did an update to the story.
Now you're just rubbing it in. LOL, just kidding.
To continue to protect American workers.
I gotta read what you're saying.
Director's misguided letter on China tariffs. So that was an update.
Ow. What is that all about?
Lol, I wish your update should be faster. Emoji thumbs up.
Seriously? It's got a comment that you made, Alto, and it's
Yeah, I
giving
would,
me
but it's
the...
not my house, so wouldn't want to spend almost 2K just to move when we move out, lol.
Alright, so your comment about, PD being a bunch of wankers, I had to approve that. And...
LOL, thank you, haha.
And then another one got blocked. Good grief. And I don't have this set up very strict or anything either.
I am sorry, Dave.
No, it's not your fault. It's YouTube entirely. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't believe I have some kind of a setting turned on for that. Because it shouldn't be blocking. But let me look, actually.
I want to say anything like that anymore, my friend.
I don't know where options are going to be at to not, to hide what they deem as bad words. Because I've used the F word, I've said fuck on all kinds of people's
6 minutes.
Streams, and it's never hidden.
It's gonna play for 6 minutes. Oh, okay.
I don't see where I can set that. Ugh. It's gotta be my settings.
When you're ready, I'm gonna get back, or are you ready? Yeah, I'll intro it. Okay, play it.
Damn it. Alright, I'm not gonna look for it right now.
Unfortunately, leftists run YouTube. Emoji face with symbols on mouth.
Yeah, be careful with that word, man. They've got spiders crawling around and shit. Fucking assholes. Yep, you're absolutely correct.
You would have to use studio for your settings.
Everybody, Casey Henderson here for favors. Windows. Getting new windows in your home. Very, very important. Windows are
There's a lot of tutorials on there.
keep the elements out of your house. Keep cold air, warm air in your home in the season. And of course, they allow waste pollution to get in and out of your home. Also, they're going to dramatically improve your curb appeal, your resale value, and the comfort of living
On
in your
YouTube,
house.
on YouTube.
Favors me window to get a
Oh, come on. Don't even do it.
So we can write about tons of other services, including vinyl siding. We can even have engineered wood siding.
See, like the helicopter?
Right now. And of course,
When that helicopter is overhead, I hear it overhead.
showers, bathtubs, and tons of great services.
And I haven't worn my headphones enough to really,
Percent off of their granddad
suck
I
it all
actually
in.
custom mounted feedback.
special manufacturer rebates with all bike
I need to take screenshots of the headphones that you mentioned earlier.
$1,000 for 22 months, no interest, no payments. All right now, Favors Me Window. Find them online at window.com. Please let Favors Me Window know that I sent you.
Ooh, 151.
Well, here's the truth. Most people who get solar are going to get ripped off. Not everybody.
Exactly.
There are some good companies out there, don't get me wrong. But there is a real problem with people being sold a bill of goods about solar and spending gobs of money.
Nope.
And you are never going to see
Gee, I've been there
return on
before.
your investment.
Assholes.
And you have to be very, very careful about how you do
Go,
this.
go, go,
If you're
go,
gonna get
go.
solar, which I'm all in favor of.
I've cussed on stream many times, but I try not to
Backup
lol.
system that relieves tension on the grid, so overall the power grid in your community is better. I'm all for that, but there are ways of doing that responsibly, and then there are stupid ways of doing that where you get ripped off. This is an IT
I do
investigation.
have expected them to suspend my channel a few times. Emoji face with tears of
IT
joy.
investigation on solar power scams that were happening in the area. I'm going to play the entire segment for you. This is only one part of a series that they did, but I want you to hear some of the lies that people are telling the solar industry
Damn.
to to spend tens of thousands of dollars to get
so it's got grip to a point, then all of a sudden, and then really,
LOL.
Talk about frustrating. Some solar customers ended up spending even more for power than they did before.
Travis shows you the right questions to ask in this growing industry. Ready?
Okay, well, I gotta go, brother, gotta sneeze. Emoji disappointed face.
Did you check and see if the servers are up yet?
And feedback, and I just don't care what they do.
Did you check and see if the servers are up?
I've never worked anywhere that everybody's so happy.
Her happy employer is
Happy
Power
Britsky,
Home Solar.
emoji waving
Now
hand.
changing its name to Peak Energy. Based in North Carolina, the largest home solar company in the Southeast.
Yeah, there's another one that I have to approve.
Alto.
Give me a break, man.
USA out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
It's forcing me to
Servers are
approve
still down. Emoji face with symbols on mouth.
Sales pitches. Both companies made
Alright, I gotta go up and find the
customers.
headphones.
They quickly turned those smiles upside down.
It's not turned out to be what was promised.
They know it's not working, and they don't ever respond to anything.
Rod Culver agreed to pay Solar
Okay,
Type
so the
USA
live chat stops at a point?
$23,000 to outfit his Douglas Ford.
Really?
With the promise to give
How do you
it
go back and
I've
read
got
the
another
entire
half hour
chat?
probably before my update finished. LOL.
We'll never know.
Okay, I found the
Douglas
button
County building
for
inspector,
full live
Solar
chat.
Titan failed to pull a building permit to do the work.
Are we still
Without
offline?
that permit, Culver can't hook up the system to the grid.
When this garbage happens, Dave, we can't even access our own cars in our darn garages. Wow,
Well, it's only
correction,
been
6 minutes. LOL.
Yeah, it's been 37 minutes, but just
Permit too. They've called Culver to reach a resolution.
34 hours was terrible.
Did the salesman tell you things that turned out not to be true?
Absolutely. Almost
You
everything.
know, they've got a lot on their plate.
Like how Amy and Nathan Tatro would be able to sell extra solar power.
Hopefully they'll fix the lobbies.
Thus giving the Lafayette couple a negative electric.
That's driving everyone nuts.
A negative power bill.
No, never.
Their power
Okay, so I can't scroll back up to where we were talking about headphones.
Financed over 25 years. Her North Georgia
Fuck.
EMC bills have barely budged.
If I'd have known all this, I would have never made this decision. I
Damn
would
it.
have stayed with my regular old power company.
It's an
Because
understatement.
we were talking
Yeah,
about
the chat
headphones
windows
earlier.
don't really read entire messages. Sometimes that's part of why I stopped using it, besides that it distracts me. LOL.
To ask. Well,
We were talking about headphones earlier,
the
and
answers we got.
forgive me, but I can't recall who it was that put some model numbers out there. I was going to go back and screenshot it so I could look them up.
To Andrew, who said he was a senior accountant.
Because if I can get a really good pair of open back headphones,
Hopefully
that
they fix a
sound,
lot of things. I can't drive as fast as I used to. LOL.
and the headphones need to
That's right, he said
sound really good but still be airy.
Andrew quoted us $69,999. Later guaranteeing
Okay.
a 67%
Get through
reduction
this.
in our power bill.
Forgot where I was at.
We can only wait and fix the lobbies, and that's so some of the other GR4 and GR3 cars can be more competitive.
9% reduce our utility bill by 67%, not even by 50%.
See the mud buildup?
I use an Astro pair of headphones. I like them.
Andrew Raleigh promised that we get credit for every unused solar kilowatt we send to our electric company. It's called
I am sick to death of the requests every single week.
DMC, the utility that services this owner, doesn't offer net metering. Our solar city fired him because they told us to not act in accordance with our sales guidelines and trainings or our ethics. They also agreed to cancel Amy and Nathan's contract and take down their system, again citing a rather significant miscommunication by their
And
sales.
don't you get me wrong, I love the Alpha 155. Energy smiling face with hard eyes.
Our house was almost as high, nearly $58,000. That's $300,000
Yeah, the sun's bright.
For 20 years. I'm still gonna be the power.
Astro10 is the headphones I use, but I'm getting a really good luck tomorrow that my best
Oh my
friend is
gosh.
sending me emoji thumbs up.
Fuck me.
Has some complaints about companies who want to
Your stupid-ass car.
Yeah.
How can you promise her that her car will have no consumption charge? She will have to be purchased.
I'm not going to answer any questions from you, man. This is real.
How far back am I from these idiots?
They get complicated.
Too far back.
So much money in the system.
That also reminds me of Jesse's Jetty from Fast and Furious 1 Hawkeye.
Firing offense. It's a you're not firing at
Well, to still have any kind of a bill and showing out, we can $70,000. They should be pretty upfront to know that. Sounds like you'll have more on this tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, the company's also promised to be able to save a bunch of money by using a 26% tax credit.
Jet is so intense.
Works. They didn't put the taxes are certain companies that she was on disability. Essentially what happens.
Yeah, they never explain the tax credit. Most people just assume that
The best lightweight and plenty fast.
That's a recovery cost of the system.
Hey, I gotta peel myself away and go to
This is
bed.
like when you have, Pennsylvania idiots like me put a joke out there and say, hey, buy an electric vehicle, which averages $55,000. That's the average cost of an electric vehicle. You just go buy an electric vehicle, you don't have to worry about $4 or $5 gallon gas.
Yeah, bullshit.
Okay, but if I buy an electric vehicle, I will be paying more per month than I would be if I just kept my vehicle and paid the $5 gas. So how does that help me? We're at a point now, 20 years, $345 a month, and it doesn't 100% reduce your electric bill. You're still paying
See you, Dave. See you, Alto.
a massive
Energy
chunk of your
waving
electric
hand.
bill. You don't save any money. That's the issue. The system's $91,000. By the time the loan is paid off, you have exponentially increased how much money you have going out. You have helped
reading your
yourself
comments.
exactly zero. You have put yourself in more financial dire
All right,
straits.
Brigsby.
It's not going to help you in any way. Because I've got a relative who's going through this right now. We're sitting back waiting for her to finally tell us how much money she's saving per month on her electric bill. Even if you were spending just $345 a month for your solar system for 25 years and it reduced your electric bill by $50, you haven't come out on top.
Okay.
Why do you think they don't want you to learn math in school, guys? More coming up, 95.3 MNC. MNC News Time is 4:32. Time to check out Impress Jewelry Creations. Use your money on something that is actually valuable. Retain its value. Go to ImpressJewelers.com.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Happy birthday, emoji waving hand.
Depends on where you're at. So run from your average bill between $300 and $500. So if you're in one of those places, market that sort of thing, the system's more enticing. If you're in a place here where your power bill is like maybe $120, you're in big trouble. 140 is high. Yeah, but still. That's still, yeah. Don't have a choice. Yeah, no, we don't have a choice.
I know you can get through there fast. I've gone through there fast. Not in this car, though.
That's interesting. Yeah, they've got it completely torn up right now, but I don't know what color they're going to paint it, but I'm sure it'll look nice like that.
What did I win? What did I win? Absolutely nothing.
I went home
And you'll
before the
like
show,
it.
After I got off my previous job, or my first job. I usually do that because that's my lunchtime. And because why take lunch at your other job when you're working, 5-6 hours? And I have a perfectly good opportunity to do it. And they were painting the door frame around my door. So, they're a little bit behind right now because some of the new project managers and just got them out of training and equipment. And so they're we're a little behind right now. It's just come in, just catch up on your paint work and then hit us up in a couple weeks.
And the red on this car is really, really pretty. I would love a blue like that.
Personally, I think Prosper would be doing much better to fix their electric work as opposed to their painting. But yeah, well, Coda Paint allows you to sell more rentals, get more people in there, and then you can focus on the other stuff later. It's like somebody who does one of those $300 paint jobs on a car. That's fair. They sell it. That's fair, but the bare minimum is keeping the place safe. You have to make fires safe. Yeah, they don't care about that. They don't, but they will take it seriously. I've told you before, it gets to a point where honestly, I'm kind of scared to use my oven. Because, so I have a toaster oven. I just use that. Except for big stuff, you can't really cook out of a toaster oven. Right.
I won nothing. Yay!
Plus amps, regular appliance does because it's smaller.
I guess we have to go all the way out and then come back in.
Yeah, May 2017 is when Governor Holcomb signed SB 309 into law. That's the one that gets rid of net metering. We're back after this ad, by the way. Okay.
Nope. Maintenance. Okay. Update maintenance, Gran Turismo 7 servers, date and time.
Casey Hendrickson.
2300 through
my
1.
audience knows what's up. Goose on the live stream right now.
Okay.
This is all about controlling your travel. Yep. I know, Casey, how's this about controlling your travel? You're just talking about solar power on your house. No, it's as we have tied together for a long time now. This is all about controlling your ability to travel.
Yeah.
Mentioned this many, many times. Some people also pointed out
damn it, I need to use a controller? Seriously? Okay, please note that during this time, only arcade races within World Circuits and Music Rally will be playable. Other online services like Sport Mode will not be available, and progress will not be saved. Okay. Furthermore, the performance points requirements for some events may change with this update. Please be sure to complete any championships within World Circuits
and selling it at a
might
retail rate
be
are getting an unfair subsidy.
on hold
When
before
metering customers sell at
the
the
start of the
higher
maintenance.
retail
So
rate,
they're gonna fuck with the
they're
performance
using the
points.
transmission infrastructure, the grid.
They're gonna fuck with the performance
In
points.
comparison, the utilities sell the power
Seriously, that's the
they buy
most important
from
thing
power plants at
that you
wholesale
ever
rates
say?
to customers at higher rates.
Performance points?
to pay
You're gonna
for the grid.
fuck it
Yeah,
up
yeah,
again?
yeah.
Hopefully not.
I'm gonna play this other audio here. This is important. This is on
With the lobbies.
MSNBC. MSNBC went out on the street, which is
Fuck
something they should
me.
probably never do. And they started asking people about their opinions of the economy, which they should probably never do. Because MSNBC wants you to think the economy's great. So they talked to this dude holding his daughter at a gas station. Here's what he had to say.
Green car, an electric car, hybrid car.
All right, two-pronged question for you, Lamb. The first one is this, and Katie makes a great point. The fact that we are seeing gas prices impact people's pocketbooks so much right now, would that change how you're considering voting for the next election, whether it's congressional later this year or
Alright,
presidential?
I'm gonna kill the stream here.
Definitely. I just know that one administration had cheaper gas.
I need to get caught up in some shows, actually.
And this is a bottom line,
You know,
strictly
I gotta get caught up on something. I'm way late on all my shows.
I mean, gas is a big part of it.
So,
but
thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing.
Gas is a big part of it.
I appreciate you
That raises
guys
the cost of everything else.
being here with me in
Targeted.
my journey. It means a lot. So, I'll be bouncing between YouTube and Twitch and YouTube and Twitch.
Hag
Yeah.
Dave, emoji waving hand.
See you, buddy. Okay. What did you put out today? Alright. I'm going to be up for a little while longer. And I'll jump back in and see what is going on with the freaking game. I don't know. We'll see. But, see you guys tomorrow. At some point. Thanks.